Virtuoso. I'm so glad you're back. So today what we're going to talk about is our scale of the day is A major. A major has 3 accidentals, and those sharps are F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. And the relative minor is F sharp minor. So I hope you have a chance to try that out, at least one octave, and then you can push yourself to try a second octave. What we're going to talk about is we're going to continue with our intervals. So today's intervals is perfect fifth, tritone, and minor six. So for perfect fifth, the songs that you'll recognize that from is from Star Wars theme song, bum bum. That's a fifth. Twinkle twinkle little star, bum 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 bum. And my favorite things from The Sound of Music. Bum, bum, bum. And then Can't Help Falling in Love. Bum, bum, bum. So you can kind of just see the similarities already between those, how you hear that fifth. So here is what a perfect fifth looks and sounds like. This is a perfect fifth. Next, we have a tritone. For a tritone, the songs are Maria from West Side Story, Maria. And then we have the Simpsons theme song, The Simpsons. And this is what a tritone looks and sounds like. This is a tritone. We have minor six next, and the songs that we have for that is The Entertainer, bum 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 bum, and then we have We Are Young and Fun. So this is what that looks and sounds like. This is a minor six. So those are today's intervals. Just try to identify if you have any perfect fifths, if you have any tritones or minor six in your music, and practice those individually. What we're going to talk about next is bow exercises. So bow exercises, why we do them is that it helps either with wrist flexibility or strengthening those little muscles in our fingers. So the first one we're going to do, so if you have your bow, I would suggest bringing this out for this one and doing it alongside with me. First one is called the monkey. So the monkey is where we're going to be climbing up the tree as a monkey. Grab the bananas and we're coming back down. So with the monkey, you want to start with your bow hold. So you can either go sideways to get your bow hold, and then you turn your bow sideways. What you're going to do is you're going to climb as fast as possible while keeping your fingers on top of the bow. We don't want your fingers touching the hair. And then what you're going to do next is that you're going to go as fast as possible down. The more you move your thumb widely, the faster you go. Keep the bow widely, just moving around to just keep it as straight as possible. So that's an exercise that is going to strengthen your fingers, and that they're going to work well together. Next exercise we have is called the bridge. So again, you start in bow hold position, and this is a great exercise because it emphasizes the importance of your pinky. So if I take my pinky off, you see that the bow is going to fall. So this is why this is a kind of more pinky exercise and balance. So with the bridge, you're going to pretend that your bow is a bridge, and that on the horse here, those are cars on top of the bridge. So if your bow goes down, so do the cars. They sink into the water. So you want to try to keep it as straight as possible. This is a hard exercise even for me. You can go slowly for this one. It's not a speed thing. But the thing is for this is the further you go out, the more pressure you need to put with your index finger, because the frog is the heaviest part of the bow. So you want to see how far you can get into the up the bow, and we're just going to go one way for here. So again, you're just, like I said, this is a real balanced one, and we're putting more and more pressure on our index finger the further up we go. So that's that. The next one we're going to do is called Windshield Wipers. You're going to start out, and you want to make sure that you have room around you. You're going to hold your bow, and you're going to relax. You're going to go to the left and to the right. You want to make sure that you're relaxing your wrist. You're not causing tension and having your wrist be tight. But this is kind of working on our wrist flexibility. So you can do that a couple times, but again, make sure you are relaxing when you're doing so. So that is windshield wipers. So you have 3 of those bow exercises that you can try. I would definitely recommend that you do those ever so often. So that is all for today. What we're going to talk about next is our composer of the day, Antonio Vivaldi. So Antonio Lucio Vivaldi was born in Venice, Italy in 1678. He was an Italian composer and violinist who left a decisive mark on the form of the concerto and the style of the late Baroque instrumental music. Vivaldi was the eldest child in his family and trained for the priesthood, actually, and was ordained in 1703. When he was 25 years old, though he instead chose to follow his passion for music, with his distinctive reddish hair, he was nicknamed the Red Priest. Vivaldi was a fruitful composer who created hundreds of works, and he became renowned for his concertos in Baroque style, becoming a highly influential innovator in form and pattern. His father, Giovanni Battista Vivaldi, was a professional violinist who taught his young son to play as well. Through his father, Vivaldi met and learned from some of the finest musicians and composers in Venice at the time. While his violin practice flourished, a chronic shortness of breath kept him from mastering wind instruments. Vivaldi sought religious training as well as music instruction. At the age of 15, he began studying to become a priest, so he was ordained when he was 25 years old. Vivaldi's career in the clergy was short-lived. Health problems prevented him from delivering Mass and drove him to abandon the priesthood shortly after his ordination. So later down the year, when he was still 25, Vivaldi was named Master of the Violin at the Ospedale della Pietà, which was Devout Hospital of Mercy in Venice. He composed most of his major works in the position for over 3 decades. The Ospedale was an institution where orphans received instruction, so the boys in trade and the girls in music. The most talented musicians joined an orchestra that played Vivaldi's compositions, including religious choral music. Under Vivaldi's leadership, the orchestra gained international attention. At 38, he was promoted to musical director. In addition to his choral music and concerti, Vivaldi had begun regularly writing opera scores by 1715 when he was 37. About 50 of those scores remain. His most successful operatic works, La Costanza Triomphante and Farnese, were performed in multiple revivals during Vivaldi's lifetime. In addition to his regular employment, Vivaldi accepted a number of short-term positions funded by patrons in Mantua and Rome. Vivaldi's fans and patrons included members of European royal families. One of his cantatas, Gloria in Imano, was written specifically for the wedding of King Louis the 15th. He was also a favorite of Emperor Charles VI, who honored Vivaldi publicly by naming him a knight. Vivaldi's renown as a composer and musician in early life did not translate into lasting financial success. Eclipsed by younger composers and more modern styles, Vivaldi left Venice for Vienna, Austria, possibly hoping to find a position in the imperial court located there. He found himself without a prominent patron following the death of Charles VI. However, and he died in poverty in Vienna on July 28, 1741. Vivaldi was buried in a simple grave after a funeral service that proceeded without music, which is incredibly sad. Vivaldi's work, including nearly 500 concertos, have influenced subsequent composers, including Johann Sebastian Bach. So today's practice goal is to practice at least one of the bow exercises that we went over, and to identify intervals throughout your music. So have fun, and then we'll see you tomorrow.